Hi, welcome back to my decorating series. We're gonna go inside, go back to the 19th floor, and finish with an executive suite eat-in kitchen. So, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do in here, apart from try and make sure that it tied into the rest of the executive suite to some extent, the rest of the hotel spaces to some extent. And I knew that there were some cupboards that I had not used, and so particularly I wanted to try to use the new Alpine cabinets, cupboards, that kind of thing. And when I put down all of the appliances that, like kind of combinations that we had, I was really intrigued by the thought of using the pink stuff, whether or not it was the stuff from the premium shop. I want to say it was a Frozen set. Where it's kind of like a dusty rose color. It's an antique looking stove. It's still on the screen. It's just under the menu. But I was really intrigued by the thought of using just the plain deluxe pink stove and fridge, because I thought of all the places to use it, the Alpine cupboard set would probably be the most fitting color-wise. And I knew that there weren't very many places that I would use the pink ones. So even though I still have the other sets down, I that's the one that keeps going, you should use this, you should use this. But I did want to make sure, since a lot of the stuff from the Wish Blossom Ranch expansion is not stuff you can just buy, it's crafted. I was like, well, I know I don't have a lot of the Alpine set stuff in my options at the moment because, well, I haven't crafted it yet, or I've used it if I've crafted it already. And so I wanted to make sure that I was looking for either farmhouse or Alpine, because I wanted to see how many of those pieces I could use. And honestly, I really liked that. I think it's probably an Aladdin wall. It's gold and red. And the only reason I don't end up using it in the end is because it's red. But I really liked the detail of it. And I liked the fact that although it's a different aesthetic, it I don't know, there was something about it that went with everything else for me. But the red, that was the only thing that held me back from using that wall. I really like how it looked behind the Alpine stuff for some reason. I can't really explain it. But here I am trying to figure out how to use this big, I think it's a farmhouse pantry is what it's called. It's not actually called Alpine because sometimes they have to name one or two pieces different than the rest of the set. Makes it a little tricky to find things sometimes. It's one of the reasons I do so much scrolling even now that they've added the search functions, because I don't always remember the different names. And I was really torn about using that pantry just because this is still supposed to be a hotel space. But I kept thinking, the executive suite could be kind of if you don't want to deal with like going out and having public amenities, you would want those amenities anyway. And somebody might want a fully stocked pantry in their suite, and if not, they could close the door and it's just a pretty looking wall piece. But I wasn't sure if it felt like it was too much, but I really wanted to try and use it, and I figured I could justify it. I could justify the use of it. So of course now I'm trying to figure out spacing, how small this room can get. I really liked the idea of making this room small just because it is still just, it's just an eat-in kitchen. It doesn't have to be this grand kitchen. And it's already kind of grand in its own way because it's separate from the rest of the public hotel spaces. This is an amenity just for this suite. It's not for anybody else to use. So having it be small doesn't detract from the fact that it is a, private amenity for the suite. So now I'm just trying to finalize. Yeah, I was really struggling with the walls in this room. Like the purple tied into the flowers on the Alpine stuff. But it just wasn't doing it for me, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't doing it for me. So I fussed for quite a bit with the floors and the walls, trying to get it to feel right in here. And I also really struggled with the door. I like the Alpine door. It's cute. It ties in aesthetically, but there's something about it that says Old Western, you know, saloon to me, because of course it's a swinging door set. So that also messes with me for a while. But here I am trying to recreate the spacing that I had before I shrank the room. And just, again, fussing with the floor, thinking about how it feels, and just feeling like something still isn't quite right. Like, there's a little bit too much space in here still. Like, yeah, there we go. There's the door issue. I just fixed it. The only thing I don't like about the door that I picked is that it's got marble framework on it, and that really doesn't go with the whole Alpine kitchen. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, it does tie into some of the marble stuff that we used in some of the other hotel spaces. So maybe it worked out better than I thought it did. Huh. Yep. There I am going, nope, the room is still too big. And I ended up going with a wood wall because it was, I think after I put the Naboo windows in, that I went, oh, I need to go darker. Because a lot of this stuff is really bright. And although I don't mind bright, I feel like there's something nice and comforting to having kind of the heavier wall with brighter objects on it. And I feel like I had been doing that in some of the other hotel spaces, even though it may not have been really conscious. And I know I have used this wood wall in a couple of other spaces, or at least one other space in the hotel areas. I think it was probably the spa, if I had to guess, or sauna. But yeah, there was something about once I put that wall down that I went, oh, okay. Everything, it was just too bright. Now, kitchens can be bright, but sometimes a little dark tone works in the background, kind of, you know, to give it something solid, you know, all the brightness to sit upon. So I have to do my regular scrolling, looking for my last minute decorations, last minute plants, trying to figure out what lights will work, and fussing. It's kind of interesting to fuss when the room is smaller, because even though it's small, there are still empty spaces that I feel compelled to fill up. Oh, and of course I have to add a couple touches of greenery. I think it always does a room good to have a little bit of greenery in there. And yeah, just making sure. Oh, I decided functional lights over the kind of stove and fridge area made sense, because I can imagine dimmers on the lights in this room. All right, well, let's go inside and check it out. Well, here we go. We're wrapping up the 19th floor. Only one more floor to go after this. It's kind of wild to me to be this close to the end now after almost a year and a half. And I actually, you know, I really like how this little kitchen turned out. You know, once I realized that it could be this small, it made me think about the fact that I went for more cozy instead of more cush. Like, it's still a cush executive suite. Obviously, they're, you know, it's separate from the rest of the hotel. You can be very private up here. But I didn't go for like ultra modern metal and leather. You know, there were some very modern looking furniture pieces that I thought that I was going to use on this floor. And after I started kind of realizing, but that's not the vibe of this kind of hotel area I have created. I've created a very earthy and warm and, I don't know, just kind of cozy atmosphere on the other floors. I think the fact that the aesthetics that I chose, you know, Naboo, turning red, Mulan. I mean, there are some touches from Hercules, which feels a little bit more cold with the marble. But, you know, the Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, all of those are very kind of rustic feeling, or just definitely not modern feeling aesthetics. And I really like the direction things ended up going. You know, you can think about it all day and make assumptions about what you do all day, but once you sit down and start putting pieces down and thinking about how things kind of tie in together, you might end up going in directions you never thought you would. So next week starts the last floor, and I'm really excited to get to it. That's it for today's decorating adventure. If you liked this video, a thumbs up is a great way to let me know, and a subscription will keep you up to date on my latest shenanigans. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. And I'll see you next time.